What's new in CloudBees CI 2.401.3.3? On July 26, 2023, CloudBees CI 2.401.3.3 was released. Also on July 26th, Jenkins LTS 2.401.3 was released. On July 27th, I did a video with Mark Waite about what's new in Jenkins LTS. If you would like more details about that release, the link to that video is down in the description. If you've never taken a look at the CloudBees CI release notes, let me show you how to get there. We're going to start at docs.cloudbees.com. Under Documentation, we'll go down to CloudBees CI. On the Documentation dropdown on the left nav, we'll click on that and select Release Notes. And this is the homepage for the CloudBees CI release notes. Now, before we take a look at the specific release notes for the new release, I want to call out this important section that is here at the top of the page. If you skip versions when you upgrade, you're going to need to refer to the previous release notes of what you were running and compare them to the new version that you're going to be upgrading to. For example, if I was going to be upgrading from 2.387.2.4 all the way up to 2.401.3.3, I would need to go through and check the release notes for every version in between those two versions, specifically looking at known issues and any upgrade notes. We recommend using an assisted update to help make the update process easier and simpler. There is a link down in the description about how to get help for an assisted update. For this release, there are no differences between the release notes for Modern Cloud Platform and for traditional. So we're just going to take a look at the traditional release notes. So let's go ahead and click into full release notes for traditional platforms. And the first thing that we'll see at the top is a security advisory. I'm going to go ahead and open up this security advisory because at the very top, this is the one that I want to call out. There's a handful of other items in this advisory, but this top one is the most important. There is a stored XSS vulnerability within Jenkins core. Now, since CloudBees CI is based on Jenkins, that also applies to CloudBees CI. With this vulnerability being classified as high, we recommend to do your upgrade as soon as you possibly can. So let's go ahead and go back over to release notes. And what we'll see here at the very top under new features, there are two new features that are released with this version. Number one is the CloudBees workspace caching with AWS S3. We've probably all had the times in our lives when we've sat down with Maven or Gradle or NPM and run the command and we just waited for the whole internet to download. That would manifest itself as slow build times, or maybe we're using ephemeral agents and those take a long time to come online. Downloading the internet every time you need to do a build isn't very efficient. So with workspace caching, what we're able to do is take the workspace and cache that workspace to the side. So when you run the next build, you can reuse the cache and not download everything from ground up. In this release, we're just supporting AWS S3, but there are other external storage providers coming online in the future. Secondly, we also have a CloudBees build strategy. And this build strategy was created to help with the initial indexing of a multi-branch job or an organization job. By default, when the initial index of a multi-branch or an organization job runs, it also fires off all of the builds, which turns into what is called normally a build storm. What this build strategy does is it gives you an initial index build prevention strategy that will still find the branches, create the jobs, but it won't actually build the jobs, thereby eliminating the build storm. So if you're a CloudBees CI administrator and you've run into this before, having this strategy applied to your pipelines will help eliminate those build storms in the future. Let's go ahead and move down to feature enhancements. Now in the previous release, which was 2.401.2.3, the CloudBees Pipeline Explorer went GA. With this release in 2.401.3.3, we have now included the Pipeline Explorer inside of the CloudBees Assurance Program, or CAP. There's also one other thing. If from this point forward, with 2.401.3.3 and future controller versions, when creating a new controller and selecting the Install Suggested Plugins option, the CloudBees Pipeline Explorer plugin will be installed by default. For any previous versions that support it, you will need to install CloudBees Pipeline Explorer manually. Down in resolved issues, there are 6 resolved issues for this release. If you have any questions or comments, you can reach out to us on Twitter at CloudBees. If this video was helpful to you, give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to CloudBees TV yet, why not? Take a moment, click on that subscribe button, and then ring that bell, and you'll be notified anytime there's new content available on CloudBees TV. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next video.